9 down to lead by 10 going into the fourth quarter and do just enough and get just enough from their starting group, plus Draymond Green coming off the bench. The big defensive stop from Draymond and Steph Curry on Fox there late. They left Harrison Barnes open, and Warrior fans know all too well that Harrison Barnes can struggle in a playoff setting, being the man that is left wide open. So the Warriors doing the job and taking the ball out of the hands of the player who just days ago won the NBA's Most Clutch Player Award for this 2022-23 season. So just a lot of thoughts here. I want to open up the phone lines at 888-957-9570. The Comcast Business Text line is open as well. Same phone number, 888-957-9570. As we react to this one, and we're going to have a full, 75 hours, I guess, to react to this one and look ahead toward Game 5, which is going to be back in Sacramento, but not until Wednesday night. The Warriors now know there will be another home game inside Chase Center that will take place on Friday night, and the Warriors now find themselves with a shot to go to Sacramento and steal one and try to get back in this building with a chance to close out the Sacramento Kings, who have been more than a formidable opponent for this Warriors team to this point in this playoff series. So a lot to get to, and just some general thoughts here. Another massive Steph Curry statement, refuse to lose kind of a game for the Warriors. Warriors down 32-31 after they had a 31-25 lead, and the first quarter felt like really games 1 and 2 in Sacramento, where the Warriors played well but didn't quite do enough early on in the quarter to build a bigger lead, and then you look up at the end of the quarter and the Kings have the lead. And so too many turnovers early. The pace and the frenetic play, I thought, for a good chunk of this game favored Sacramento. It was very much on brand for the way the Kings like to play, the way Games 1 and Game 2 were played. The Kings were hitting the Warriors on the boards, a few too many turnovers and bad shots for Golden State, and the Warriors found themselves in a vulnerable position. But it was late first quarter, top of the second quarter, a 20-5 run for Sacramento, and the Kings found themselves up 9, and the Warriors able, though, to fight their way back, get it to within 4 at the half, and then push. Third quarter, Warriors, Sacramento with some misses. The Warriors really patient and doing a better job on the boards and able to make some shots and make the Kings work. And that's still been the story of this series for the Warriors, is the fact that when they've been able to get into their offense, not turn it over, hold their own on the boards, run their offense to completion, they've been able to basically have a layup line and get all the shots they want on Sacramento in this series. Warriors with the 37-23 third, but you knew the Kings were not going to be done, and so many times this season the Kings have been in a predicament exactly like the one they had top of the fourth quarter, and you knew that the Kings were going to make a hard push, and they did. Sabonis a bucket to start the fourth, then Mitchell, then Murray hit a 3, and all of a sudden a 10-point lead was 7, and there can be no let-up, as we've talked about so many times over the last 10 to 12 days, really 2 weeks since we've known this series was going to be played. The Kings, when they're feeling themselves and the offense is flowing and the pace is frenetic, they are never out of any game. And so the Warriors were going to have to come up with answer after answer after answer. And for Golden State, they were able to do that. They were able to get enough stops. They were able to survive to the point where Klay Thompson hit a big 3, Stephen Curry with some big makes here, and the Warriors put themselves up 126-121. Andrew Wiggins with a little pull-up bucket in the lane, and then Curry missed what would have been the kill shot. Kings took a wild shot, but the Warriors were unable to capitalize, and then Stephen Curry had one of the all-time blunders in the history of the NBA, frankly. He called a timeout that the Warriors didn't have after the Warriors had challenged a Kevon Looney offensive foul. Thought it was a little bit of a shaky challenge. Noted on Twitter that if Kerr didn't win the challenge, the Warriors would not have any timeouts, as Kerr was furiously using his timeouts throughout the game to try and quell some of the Sacramento momentum that they had building really throughout in terms of their offensive flow. And so the Kings get the ball when the Warriors basically had the game won. They hit the free throw. De'Aaron Fox hits an unbelievable 3 in a 2-for-1 situation, which makes it a 1-point game. Curry misses. Kings call time with 10.5 seconds to go, and then the Warriors able to survive thanks to some tremendous defense from Draymond Green and Stephen Curry. Forced the ball to Harrison Barnes, who got a wide-open wing three for the win, and the Warriors got a little bit lucky off of the Curry timeout, off of the Harrison Barnes miss, although that's the shot that you'd live with, as opposed to the guy who is the most clutch player in the league being able to hit a pull-up or get fouled or something like that. And so I think the Warriors played it right, but sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Today the Warriors were both, and they fought and scratched and clawed, and now this series is all even at 2 games apiece. And I think when you take a step back now, with the win in hand and Warrior fans able to celebrate and the pressure now shifting to the Kings with this series going back to Sacramento at 2-2, I think you can look at the box score if you're Golden State and you can say that the Warriors, for the first time in this series now, they withstood the team that Sacramento has been. This was a 14-35 three-point game for the Kings. This was a fourth quarter Fox game where he ends up with 38 points in this one, and 12 of the 38 in the fourth quarter. This was a game where the Warriors needed answer after answer after answer. They matched the three-point shooting. They got to the free throw line because they attacked the basket, and they survived. But I think it just goes to show how formidable this Kings team is to the Warriors, that they had to survive it. But I think it also, you could make the case that the Warriors may have taken the Kings' best shot, at least in this building at Chase Center, of the 3 games now that we know are going to be played between these two teams. Golden One Center and the cowbells and the white T-shirts, that's a completely different story, but that's a story we all now, with a deep breath, can start to focus on here with 72 hours plus between Game 4 and Game 5. 888-957-9570. We're going to start it with Joe in San Francisco. I want to hear from Warrior fans here from Harmonic Brewing in Thrive City as I sip on a Kolsch and talk to you here on 95.7 The Game. Joe, you were up first, my brother. How are you doing this afternoon on Warriors Wrap-Up?
I'm good. Can you guys hear me okay?
I got you loud and clear, Joe.
Okay, awesome. So, first of all, poetic justice. A Harrison Barnes miss finally helping Warriors win a game. I'm so thrilled about that. That said, I don't feel that good about this win. We're supposed to feel the opposite. We're supposed to walk into Game 5 with a lot of momentum after this win, but this win doesn't feel as good. Number one, we didn't look like the experienced team. I was shocked at Curry's blunder towards the end of the game that cost us the lead and the momentum. And then I was also, a little underwhelmed by the way we defended. We looked like an old, tired, slow, and unathletic team, and they had too many shooters. We had only Curry and Thompson who we could rely on at the end of the game.
Thanks for the call, Joe. Sounds like we lost you there. That one's on Craig. 888-957-9570. Momentum doesn't matter in a playoff series. And the moment at which you win the game, if you're the Warriors, no matter how you win it, you then get to take credit for all the things you did well in that game. If you don't win the game, then this series is probably over in the way that the Warriors would have lost the game. If Harrison Barnes hits a 3 and the Kings walk off the Chase Center hardwood with a win, when the Warriors were up 5 points with about 45 seconds to go, and it came with one of the all-time great players in the face of this franchise and the leader of 4 championships called a timeout that they didn't have to basically fuel the comeback, you lose that game and the season is over. You win that game no matter how you had to do it, and now you get to claim the fact that you went toe-to-toe with the Kings on their best, I think, and most efficient offensive game of this series. You battled them and hit enough shots to match them. It doesn't matter that you still weren't patient enough and you still took too many bad shots and you still had too many turnovers at times and you still didn't get enough offensive rebounds at times. You found a way to win. And look, this is the thing I've been trying to get across to Warriors fans for the last 2 weeks. Rating wins is over. This team is older. This team didn't tonight this afternoon look like the most experienced team. None of that matters. It's all about finding a way to win the game and ultimately win this series, and then you catch your breath and you see where you're at that point with the next opponent. I think that's where as far as the Warriors go, this is new territory. And the Kings, for all of their flaws, and they are in some ways a flawed team, especially defensively. I've said this a lot. I hate to continue to belabor it, but the Kings won probably 10 games the exact same way they lost this game today, where they look dead. They hit a big fourth quarter run. Fox starts cooking. Some weird stuff happens. They get a little lucky, and Harrison Barnes either hits that shot in the regular season or Fox doesn't lose it, gets between Curry and Draymond and hits a little floater or kicks it to somebody else who knocks one in. It didn't happen. Regardless of how it didn't happen, the Warriors take it and you move on, and Game 5 is a completely new entity, and Game 6 is a completely new entity, and now you can look at the things you did well, and you can separate and look at the things that you need to do better. But being 2-2 is a hell of a lot better than being 3-1, which, how do you get to 3-1? Well, if you get to 3-1 the way the Warriors would have got to 3-1, it would have been a freaking funeral right now at Harmonic Brewing, with a contingent of Kings fans probably running by here yelling at yours truly for the next hour. Didn't happen. Warriors found a way, and now the Warriors are very much alive in this series as the Kings have to deal with not being able to win a game in a fashion that they've been able to steal so many different games this season. We're going to keep it moving. 888-957-9570. We got full phone lines. We've got your secret sauce of the game coming up. We've also got your hardest working player of the game coming up, but I want to hear from you. We're keeping it going until 5 o'clock. We got a hard out for Bay Area Panthers football this afternoon, but Khaled and Clayton is next here on Warriors Wrap-Up on 95.7 The Game. What's going on, Khaled?
What's going on, JD? Hopefully you can hear me okay. My voice is almost blown from 2 games of yelling.
Wow.
So this is what I have to say, is anybody who wants to try to come away from this game with any negative Nancy talk, yes, they could have done a lot of things better, but we took the Kings' best blow. And they actually, if you look at their season statistics, defensively, they were better on the road than they were at home. And we took that shot. De'Aaron Fox was cooking. They had everything going for them, and we came away with the win. And the one big thing that I have to say is, I'm so glad we got the win, not because about going down 3-1. I agree with you. It would have been like a funeral and all the rest of that. I did not want Steph to have that Chris Webber moment on his resume. He did make the timeout, but it didn't end up coming back to haunt us in that game. It almost did, but it did not. So while people can point to it and say he called a timeout and it was a blunder, he was exhausted. He was tugging at his shorts. But they came up, they came through, and they won this game. Just like I gave away my entire voice for this team. They gave us every single inch of their ability to be able to win that game. And they looked old against the Grizzlies that time. They looked like the less experienced team at times against the Grizzlies last time. But just like the Grizzlies series, it's 2-2 tied up. And now I think the experience comes into play. Thanks, JD. I can't talk anymore. Talk to you later.
Appreciate it, Khaled. You got 75 hours to get it right before Game 5 in Sacramento on Wednesday. And if you're coming to Game 6 here at Chase, you got about 5 days to get that ready. No doubt. And I think a lot of Warrior fans are feeling that, just how awful it would have been for Steph to have to wear an all-time blunder in a moment that basically would have ended a series. All but, I know the Warriors, and we talked about it on Warriors Live, the Warriors could have won 3-1, but not the way this game would have played out, with it being an absolute thievery of epic proportions and collapse of epic proportions had the Warriors not gotten it. So you lick your wounds, you take a deep breath, you accept the fact that it's 2-2, and the Warriors played more than well enough over the course of 48 minutes to win this game, although it was with a lot of the bad from Game 1 and Game 2 on full display as well. I think Khaled probably speaks for a lot of Warrior fans that are very happy that Steph Curry doesn't have to own what would have been an all-time catastrophic blunder. Steve in San Francisco next on Warriors Wrap-Up with JD here at Harmonic Brewing on 95.7 The Game. What's going on, Steve?
Hey, JD. Thanks for taking my call. I just want to give a shout-out to Coach Kerr. I think, over the last week he's been getting a little bit of slack, the Brown's got his number and all the stuff about Curry's minutes. And in this game, he had the relationship with Dre to put Dre on the bench to start the game, saw it wasn't working, came out with him in the third quarter. It was a perfect play to close out Fox at the end of the game. I just think, he really proved himself in the clutch minutes and in the clutch situations, and I think he deserves a lot of credit on this one.
Thanks, Steve. I'm with you, and I'll even, the Draymond point was one that didn't make the monologue here because I'm trying to get a little shorter-winded than I typically am. But, Draymond's willingness to do it, Steve's willingness to ask him, and their collective willingness to make it happen was important, I think, for the psyche of the Warriors' energy coming into this game. And, I'll also say this for Steve Kerr and how he managed this thing. Part of the reason why the Warriors didn't have any timeouts when Steph Curry called the one they didn't have was because Steve Kerr was calling timeouts throughout the game to quell Sacramento's momentum and to just keep the Warriors from allowing that big run that got them down to where maybe they couldn't overcome it. And so Kerr took, I want to say 2, maybe even 3 momentum-stopping timeouts. Now, the final one and the one that they ended up needing when Curry got trapped there and the Warriors were up 5 in the final 45 to 50 seconds, that one was off a bad challenge. But even that challenge, I think Kerr is thinking if you win that challenge, you've got the ball back and you're up 5 and you're feeling good and you're able to take some more time off the clock, or even Sacramento's got to foul you. So, yeah, I'm with you on Kerr. He finally went away from Kuminga, who probably shouldn't see the floor for another second in this series. He stuck with the trustables. I think Moody could have played in the second half, although Steve Kerr went away from him. And in the second half, it was all of the trustables. It was all ride or die with the vets. It was Draymond. It was Steph. It was Jordan Poole. It was Kevon Looney, Andrew Wiggins, Klay Thompson, and it was a little bit of Dante DiVincenzo as well. But it was mainly that top 6 with Looney in the starting lineup and Draymond coming off the bench along with Jordan Poole that Kerr rode to the finish line in this one and helped enable the Warriors to get the win. 888-957-9570. Mike in Daly City next on Warriors Wrap-Up. Hey, Mike.
Hey, J&D. I have 2 things, one on turnovers and one on timeouts. And I can't see that well because I'm listening on radio mostly and not watching TV that much. But
sure,
there are at least 1 or 2 situations in every game where the Warriors have the lead down the stretch where all you have to do is not turn it over, and it looks like there's a lack of awareness. I wonder if there's some kind of signal, like calling any other play, that you run to score points, where Kirk can just put his hands up and go, just give up 24 seconds. Who cares whether we score or not? Because
right.
Warriors don't seem to grasp that concept in too many games. That's one. And then on the timeouts, I think I would put it mostly on the coaching staff. Obviously, Steph's the point guard. He should always know how many timeouts you have at the end of a game. But the coaches, after that failed protest, should have been going up and down the bench, going no timeouts, no timeouts, no timeouts. And I'm guessing they didn't do that since Kerr took responsibility at the end. So I don't know if you agree with me on the timeouts thing.
Mike, I do, and I'm glad you brought it up. Because Steve Kerr did take the heat for it after the ballgame in his postgame press conference, which we hope to get in here between now and 5 o'clock, but we are locked into a hard out here on 95.7 The Game at 5 o'clock because we got to get to Bay Area Panthers football here on 95.7 The Game. But, yeah, Coach Kerr did acknowledge that he did not, and the coaching staff did not alert everyone that they did not have any timeouts in that moment in which they lost the challenge, burning the final timeout to get the challenge pushed through, which was deemed to be unsuccessful. As far as the Warriors turn it over exactly when they basically have the game won or put themselves in strong position to be in control of the game, that's just been something that has plagued this team all freaking season long. And it was there again today, and it's one of the many things as you look at this matchup with the Kings. The Warriors' weaknesses play into the Kings' strengths, whether it's careless turnovers without having to play great defense, because the Kings don't play great defense, but you can get the ball and extra possessions even though you don't play great defense, It's bad shots, which the Warriors do tend to take some bad shots, especially when they have the game in control, and that plays into the Kings as well because they need teams to take bad shots. They want to get that frenetic pace going back and forth. And then some of the let up. You can't let up. The Kings are so damn good offensively, and they were on a freaking heater in this one. This was, again, for those that wonder, hey, why did this team win 48 games and was the 3 seed this year and was the best team in the NBA in clutch situations? It's because they come at you hard in the fourth quarter when you get a lead. And De'Aaron Fox gets after it, and Sabonis is better, and they hit some crazy threes, and they pounce on any mistake. I think once you remove yourself from it, and I'm going to say this a lot over the next 3 days, the Warriors can catch their breath, exhale, and I do think they can say, at least in this building in Chase, the Warriors did take Sacramento's best shot. Different ball game in Sacramento. Going to have to be more buttoned up. Going to have to be more grit and grind, I think, down the stretch in some of those games. But at least the Warriors will have the opportunity. Hey, what's going on, brother? Thanks for stopping by. They're going to have that opportunity to at least, the Kings have to play Game 5 knowing they didn't win this game. And maybe they missed an opportunity that was right there for them on a platter thanks to the Warriors. 888-957-9570. Nick in Berkeley, Eric in San Leandro, you're coming up first. We're going to take a quick timeout. I'm going to burn a 20, the old 20-second timeout that doesn't exist. I've got one timeout to burn, unlike the Warriors late, who took one they didn't have, and it almost set up the most catastrophic loss in the dynasty era for Golden State. But the Warriors survive 126-125. We'll be back right here from Harmonic Brewing in Thrive City outside Chase on 95.7 The Game.
U.S. Bank is ranked #1 in customer satisfaction with retail banking in California by J.D. Power. Since California is home to most award shows, we've prepared...
888-957-9570. Let's get back to the phones. As time is short, Warrior fans are fired up, and that means Nick in Berkeley gets his tipped off here in segment number 2 on 95.7 The Game. Hey, Nick.
Hey, what's up, y'all, man? Hats off to Draymond Green for being a one-man gang in the fourth quarter, man. Blocking shots, getting steals, getting rebounds, going to the rack, making great passes, and Wiggins, too. And for all you hyped out fans up in Sacramento, yeah, Coach Kerr is a beast. That's why he takes timeouts like Phil Jackson used to do with the Bulls to spin those little tighter runs. And Mike Brown ain't got nothing on Steve Kerr, so let's stop all that chit-chat right now.
Thanks for the call. I'm going to focus in on the Draymond Green portion of that conversation. Draymond Green had an incredible afternoon for a guy who shot the basketball as poorly as Draymond Green did in this game. Draymond was 3 of 14, missed layups. Go ahead and file missed layups away as another scenario where the Warriors, I mean, how many freaking missed layups did the Warriors have in this game? Like that's another one where they could have put this game away. And if the Warriors are hitting their layups, they might have scored 145 points on the Kings in this one. They had enough of them to get, but the Kings were challenging better. The Warriors not finishing. That's something that is going to have to get cleaned up. But Draymond Green, only Draymond Green in 31 minutes can go 3 for 14 and be a +8 and make a couple of the biggest defensive plays of the game. But that's who he is. He picked up the tech, unafraid to let the officials know he's still there, but also keep his composure and, letting De'Aaron Fox know that he's still there as well. Fox been doing a lot of talking these last couple of games, and he's having a whale of a series right now, and he was a monster with 38 and the 12 in the fourth, and he was cooking. But Draymond and Steph, who was up close enough on the final possession to where Fox lost the handle a little bit, which ensured that he was going to kick it to Barnes, did a nice job to be able to get that stop, even though the Warriors did get lucky. It was a wide-open shot that must be taken, and Harrison Barnes, we've seen him make that shot, although Warriors fans would tell you that they've also seen Harry B miss that shot at different times over the course of his Warriors career, including those game 5, 6, and 7 moments from that NBA Final Series back in 2016. Eric in San Leandro next. 888-957-9570. Hey, Eric.
Hey, how you doing there, guys? Man,
Good, man. How you feeling?
You talking about a winning to excel moment. I mean, man, I agree totally. You said some things that I was thinking, man, thank God that we don't have to relive what we could call a Chris Webber moment, a catastrophic error by our team leader, Steph Curry. He never makes errors like that. When that happened, I was kind of confused and upset at the same time. But thank God we overcame that. And but besides that, I love Coach Kerr. Great coach. I love him. But sometime lately, substituting system kind of scares me, with the exception of today. The last few minutes of the game, where he stuck with the 6 or 7 people that I think that should have been playing. But other than that, sometimes his substituting system kind of scares me in clutch moments. And even how long he sits Steph out sometime. I'll take your comments off the air, though.
Well, no, and I appreciate it. Thanks for the call. I'll look at, Steph played 43 minutes. So there were 5 minutes he wasn't on the floor. So I don't know about that in this game. And the 5 minutes he wasn't on the floor felt like it could have been enough to maybe do the trick at different points. Kerr rode his guys tonight, or this afternoon. He really did. He rode his guys. And it was Kevon Looney playing 32. It was Steph at 42. Steph Curry played 3 more minutes in this game than De'Aaron Fox did. And De'Aaron Fox is, 26 years old. And, the Warriors, again, he went for 38. He took 31 shots to get it. And the Warriors had enough misses. And even though the Kings were hot from 3, Keegan Murray appeared in this series for the first time in 4 games and really helped Sacramento get on track as far as the 3-point shot was going. They finally had their hotter game, but the Warriors matched them in terms of makes and took 1 fewer. Hat tip to the Warriors on that front. They took 1 fewer 3 than Sacramento. They attacked the basket, and that was enough to help them prevail in this one. But I don't think you can say anything about Steve Kerr other than it was kind of a kitchen sink game, but he rode the top 6 with Jordan Poole because the Warriors have to play a secondary ball handler with the way the Kings are defending them. And so it's 2 bigs, and it's Steph and Clay, and it's Wiggins, and it's Jordan Poole, and that's ultimately what it wound up being. Skills in Vallejo as we keep it rolling here on 95.7 The Game. Hey, Skills.
Hey, John. Good to be on with you again. I'll make my points quick. A couple months ago, I was witness to a 4-car accident on Highway 80. And I wasn't hurt, but I was dodging debris and I was dodging spinning cars. And I had to pull off the road and kind of collect myself for a couple minutes. This game, the end of this game, pretty much the same thing. When Harrison Barnes shot that ball, I'm telling you, I thought it was in. I thought for everything I own in my name that ball was going in. Thankfully, it didn't go in, but I had to just take a minute to collect myself because we played so hard down the stretch. Those defensive stops, those big hoops by Wiggins, it would have been criminal to let them go to waste. And if even if Kerr is taking blame for the timeout situation, who knows? Even if Curry, as mentally tough and as tough as he is, and he's as mentally tough as anybody, I'm sure, he's gonna carry that with him. He's gonna feel like he's to blame if they want him to lose that game, and he's gonna try too hard to make up for it in Game 5. He's not gonna be himself, and we could pretty much kiss the series goodbye. And I know you got other callers, so I'll get off the air right there, John. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. If Harrison Barnes hits that shot and the Warriors lose the way they would have lost, this series would have been over. There's no doubt about it. And Curry would have had to wear it, and Kerr would have had to have worn it. And you're right, Skills. The Warriors played hard. They got enough stops, although the Kings were cooking in that fourth quarter. And the Warriors, though, ability finally to win a close one, right? That's 2 out of 3 in favor of the Kings in terms of the close ones. Warriors winning the games that weren't close. But that shot did look like it was going in. But you're right. As far as averting a catastrophic accident, that's exactly what the Warriors did. They averted it. They can collect themselves. They can now hone in on all of the great things that they did and know they have other things that they have to clean up moving forward in this game if they are going to win the series. This game didn't win the series for the Warriors by any stretch. This game gives the Warriors an opportunity now to legitimately win the series because they're not on the brink of elimination in Sacramento on Wednesday night. And they know they've got the Game 7 in their back pocket, but it also allows them to go in with a clear head and try to get that one against the Kings when the Kings now, I think, have to be looking at the fact that few teams have been able to withstand their fourth quarter pushes in games like that. I had the note. The Kings did not lose a 1-point game all season. Sacramento lost 0 games by 1 point in the regular season. They lost by 1 point today. They won, I believe it was 5. It might have even been 6. 5 games by exactly 1 point this season. The Warriors withstood a game that had been the Kings, fairy tale, storybook, how are they doing it, light the beam, all that stuff. The Warriors took that punch and somehow, some way won the game. So the Kings now, while they can look in the mirror and say they played great and they kept coming and the shots started going down, and they'll continue that momentum, the Warriors can now play more freely, I think, for a Game 5. And you add it all up, and it just says now at 2-2 that this series is going to be a terrific series that appears at this point like it's destined to go 7 games, to be perfectly honest. All right, Josue in Fremont. What's up, Josue? You are on Warriors Wrap-Up here on 95.7 The Game.
Hey, JD. You're killing the game at the brewery. This is Josue from Fremont, and my girlfriend, Emma. Say hi, babe.
Hi, JD.
What's up, Josue? I apologize, man. It was different on my screen. My bad. I know who you are, brother. Appreciate you.
Yes, man. Massive props, dude. You've been holding it down for the pre and post game so far this whole postseason and really all season. Thank you. We really appreciate listening to you. Shout out to all Dub Nation. Shout out to Klay Thompson for hitting crucial buckets down the stretch. And then I have a question for you, but I also want to highlight that we withstood their rookie coming alive, Murray hitting big shots. He had his game, and even Monk. They both played a good game, and we withstood that. But I wanted to ask you, JD, what did you think about the whistle we got tonight? Did you think it was fairly cold? Did you think it was biased? It was hard. We were actually watching the game at Harry's Bar on Fillmore. So it was tough to kind of get a good judgment. It was a ruckus class, so I wanted to hear what you had to say about the refs tonight. What do you think?
Yeah. No, well, let's start there, and I'm glad you singled out Klay Thompson. We'll get back to Klay here in just a second. I didn't think it was a bad whistle really either way in this game, to be honest. I look at the foul totals. I don't think I'm never one that believes that the foul totals have to be even, but I look at the foul totals at the end of the game. I think this was a let-them-play crew for the most part. I thought the Warriors got a nice whistle in the third quarter. I thought maybe the Warriors weren't quite as happy with the whistle in the fourth quarter, but I thought the third quarter Warrior whistle was favorable, similarly to Game 2 in Sacramento when the Kings got a favorable whistle and the Warriors were really frustrated about it. But I look up at the end, and I don't think in total you can look at this game and think that the Warriors got a bad whistle at all at the end of the game. It was 21-19. Sacramento in terms of fouls, so relatively even if that's your bag. It's not my bag, but I'll point it out because so often people go to the total. I look at the free throw line, and the Warriors got to the line 6 more times and scored 7 more points at the free throw line than did the Kings. But I thought the Kings were more of a jump shooting team in this game. I thought the Warriors were more of an attack team in this game, so they got the benefit of getting to the line. And I think the difference was that third quarter where the Warriors got themselves into the penalty and then got to the free throw line and hat-tipped Jordan Poole, who did that a couple of times in that quarter and was 4 of 5 and able to, the Warriors needed every single one of those points in this game today. I'll get back to Klay Thompson. I want to keep it rolling with Brett on 95.7 The Game. Hey, Brett, leaving Chase. What's going on, Brett?
Hey, Dan, this is Brett, 9-year season ticket holder. Thank you for taking my call. Go Warriors.
You got it.
I'm glad they pulled it out. Memo to the fans, you guys, we're lackadaisical. We take it for granted. Third quarter starts. It's a tight game. It's a must-win game. It's Game 4. I see empty seats down below. You guys are in the club, getting your drink on or having your ice cream or whatever you're doing. And then even when you come back, we need to get loud and we got to be proud. Watch Game 5 in Sacramento, you guys. Warrior fans, I challenge each and every one of you. Watch Game 5 in Sacramento. Watch how loud those fans get. And, probably the reason why they get loud is because they haven't been there in 16 years, but we can't take these memories for granted. On that note, Dan, great job, and go Warriors.
Who's Dan? Thanks for the call, Brett. Hey, Craig, open up that mic if you're here. I just want to make sure because sometimes I'm hearing things. You got people out here having beers, having a good time. Crack that mic open, Craig, if you can here. Did he call me Dan?
I thought it was the first time, and I was like, okay, never mind. When he doubled down, I'm like, okay, maybe Dibley's doing the show. Okay, I guess so.
I don't
think Dibs works weekends.
Dan Dickinson, was that the old Miami Dolphins backup quarterback?
Good
Dan
call,
Dickinson.
yes.
Was it? It might have been, or Dave Dickinson. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, thanks, Brett. And yeah, it's John or JD. I've only been doing this show for the last 5 years and parts of like the last 7. But anyway, hey, for those watching on YouTube and Twitch, and Craig, I know you got me up in here. Cheers to you. I'm having a Kolsch following this one, taking calls. So cheers to my guy Brett, who thinks I'm Dan. As the Warriors get a big win. Olivia
like they say,
in San Jose.
Well, like they say, we've been called worse before, right? we definitely been called worse before. I was called worse in the fourth quarter by other media members. So
I'm used to it. That Sacramento media, man, we've got history. Those Sacramento media members, we got history. So I was hearing everything in the book. Some unsavory stuff coming from the media section here. So no Olivia, Craig? Okay. Tony and Alameda next on Warriors Wrap Up. Hey, Tony, how you doing this afternoon, brother?
Hey, thank you for taking my call, JD. Yes,
you got it.
I got to take on this thing here. 10 seconds left there. Okay, and I got saying to my friends here watching again. All you got to do is watch out for Fox. Okay, and sure enough, I saw Green helped out Curry there, and he was able to give the ball to Barnes. The Barnes who choked on 2016, I think 2017 on the side shot. And I said, please don't let make it. Sure enough, he came back to his real life 2016-2017 playoff against Cleveland. And thank God it was Green who helped out in there and made Fox give the ball to him. Also, Curry, That reminds me of Michigan. What was his name again? Who called a timeout? And I said, please, no.
Chris Webber. Chris Webber.
Was.
Warrior great. Warrior and Kings great. Chris Webber.
Chris Webber. I said, please, no. Okay, so it made it more interesting, and I kind of like that part. But like I said, the 10 seconds, that was nail-biting for me there, and I was so scared about that. But, we got to win. I got a big feeling we got this game, the next one out there. We got to win one, and one of those magical win on the road. And I think we're going to get this one here and come back here and win it. Thank you for taking my call.
Thanks, Tony. Yeah, Chris Webber. How can you not? I mean, Chris Webber, Rookie of the Year with the Warriors, and then all the drama and everything with Don Nelson. He gets traded to Washington, ends up being the franchise player in Sacramento and the greatest run that they've ever had in their franchise history. Yeah, Steph with the Chris Webber, although when Webber did it, Michigan was down in the national championship game. When you're up 5, you have a shot to barely withstand it, and the Warriors, fortunately for them, barely were able to withstand this one this afternoon. But at the end of the day, it reads 2-2. It reads 2-2, and everybody's got that extra day one more time to just catch their breath and get their bearings and make sure they've still got a freaking heartbeat, and we can, make the trek back to up 80 to Golden One Center for Wednesday night at 7 Pacific. It's going to be a lot of fun. 888-957-9570. I'm overdue for the secret sauce of the game. Why'd the Warriors lose? Why'd the Warriors win? Well, they won today. And the secret sauce brought to you by Proposition Chicken. This chicken goes 3 ways: fried, flipped, and fake. Now available in 9 Bay Area locations, or you can order at propositionchicken.com. And the Warriors won this game today, I think, based on their tenacity and just will to win. It was the quintessential, as I've said a few times, kitchen sink kind of a game. But it was big shots. It was enough defensive stops. It was hustle. It was fight. It was scrappiness. It was not getting demoralized when the Kings looked like they were hitting every shot. It was getting the game to a point where they were able to hit some shots that maybe demoralized Sacramento, and then it was just buckle up as they inbounded that ball to Fox. Craig, can I hear the last call again? Can I hear the final call just one more time real quick? Because tell me when Fox gets the ball in the backcourt, Warrior fans' hearts wasn't in their chest. Oh. Escape indeed, but tell me if you're a Warrior. There might have been a few Warrior fans who actually may have flatlined when Fox went deep into the backcourt to get it and was going to run it up. Because how many times in this series has he gone run it up, juke move, pull up from 10, and I don't think he's missed the shot one time in the series, and that's a shot that he makes all of the time this season. But the Warriors able to get the ball out of his hands in the most critical moment, prevent the 40-burger, and Harrison Barnes misses the shot. Sometimes you got to give up something to get something. The Warriors gave up that wide-open look to Harrison Barnes, who missed it, and they win the game by 1. Secret sauce, Proposition Chicken, 9 Bay Area locations. Order now, propositionchicken.com. All right, 888-957-9570. Let's keep it going. Vanna is leaving the game. Vanna on 95.7 The Game. Hey, Vanna.
Hey, what's up, JD? Hey, I'm leaving the game. The last guy who called, he didn't even know your name, so I don't know what he's talking about. It was loud at Chase Center, and we always go and have a good time. I'm a season ticket holder, and I feel like it's loud, and we keep living in the past about Oracle, but, I think it was loud. We did our part. But I just want to comment on GT. What's that?
No, go ahead. I'm glad you made that point because I was going to make that point. I'm going to let you finish, Vanna. But it was loud. Was it not Sacramento, who hasn't had a playoff game in almost 2 decades? Maybe not. Was it not Boston? Was it not Oracle in We Believe? Maybe not. But it was a great crowd. They were into it. I'm glad you made that point because it was legit this afternoon. But go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Yeah, thank you, because I lost my voice. So I wanted to stand up for us as fans. And then number 2, I wanted to see if you had any insight on GP2, because I noticed he didn't play a lot, and then there was a moment in the game where he went back to the bench, and he almost looked like he was just exhausted. So is he not fully recovered? So I'll just take your comments off the air. Thanks, JD.
Yeah,
Bye.
you got it, Vanna. Thank you. Yeah, I think this game was set up for Gary Payton II to play less because he's coming off an illness where he missed Wednesday and Thursday, and the Warriors didn't do much Friday and had a light practice yesterday. So I think playing 2 players at the same time that aren't offensive threats has been getting the Warriors burned. So I think it might have been a natural for Payton to play a little bit less in this game, and it made it easier for Kerr to play Poole more, split up Draymond and Looney, and try to roll that way with fewer players playing that aren't as quite the offensive threats. And it was easier to do that with Payton being a guy that was coming off of the illness. I want to get to our hardest working player of the game, and then we're going to get Hayden in, and then we're going to call it an afternoon because we got to get to Bay Area Panthers football. But the hardest working player of the game is brought to you by AC Transit. Hardest worker of the game brought to you by AC Transit. AC Transit looking for hard workers, offering a $2,000 bonus for new bus operators and journey-level mechanics to join their team. For complete details and to apply, visit actransit.org/careers. That's actransit.org/careers. And a shout-out to Klay Thompson, who was playing terrible in the second quarter, but rebounded from that point on and had a pretty incredible game. And you look up at the box score at the end of this one, and Klay ends up a plus 22 and had 26 points and was efficient, 9 of 15. He got off to a bad start, but finished strong, and the Warriors needed every bit of it, including Klay Thompson's defense. All right, that'll do it. Thanks to Craig Valentino, who remains undefeated,
6-0,
running the show, 6-0. Thanks to everybody in our San Francisco studios. Thanks to everybody out here at Harmonic Brewing for setting us up pregame and postgame. I'm John Dickinson. Look for me with Steiny and Guru tomorrow at some point, probably around 1 o'clock, and their 10 to 2 show. And then Warriors Live from Golden One Center. I will be on hand 6 o'clock Wednesday night. This series has more haymakers coming, and it has been an absolute thrill to be a small part of it here, talking to you, the Warrior fans, after each and every one of these games. So Bay Area Panthers football's coming up next. Warriors get the win, 126-125. Catch your breath, everybody, over the next 3 days, because there could be 3 more of these games coming up, and we're going to have them all for you right here on 95.7 The Game.
Attention facility professionals, property managers, and building owners. Earn free education credits and network with the top professionals by attending the West Coast Buildings and Facilities Management Conference this May 23rd and 24th at the Alameda County Fairgrounds in Pleasanton. Sponsored by BOMA, IFMA, ABC, and NECA. This event is your one-stop shop for all things buildings and facilities throughout the Bay Area. Register to attend today and receive free lunch and parking. This event is free for all qualified professionals. Register online at proexpos.com. That's PROEXPOS.com.
So, what are you reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores of all, but their prices are really high.
Did you check online?
Yeah, their prices were about the same.
Well, there's one place where we can get a hot deal on those top-rated models.
Where?
At Video Only. Check out the ratings on TV stores.
I see. Video Only scored better than the others.
So, if you want the best deal on the best TVs,
then we should take our TV ratings and head over to top-rated Video Only.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Mountain View, San Mateo, Union City, Dublin, and San Rafael. Video only. Guys, fellas, men, do you want a better sex life? Roman has genuine medication that helps you achieve and maintain a strong erection. Roman has discreet wipes that help you last 4 times longer in bed. Roman has testosterone testing and treatment. Treating low testosterone can help revive your sex drive. So men, what are you waiting for? For a better sex life, go to ro.co/bettersex. Do it today and get 20% off. That's ro.co/bettersex.
Mom, Dad, Sis?
Here we go again.
Why are you in a suit? Picture, if you will, a world with the best network imaginable. I'm talking about the Xfinity 10G network.
Go on.
Mom, remember how your reality shows wouldn't load with all of us online? Now you can binge. And Susie, we'll have fast internet in the basement.
Nice.
If you have any questions, here's my card.
This is just your name on a gum wrapper.
Introducing the 10G network only from Xfinity. The future starts now. Now through April 23rd, new customers can get 200 megabit Xfinity internet during our limited time Xfinity 10G network launch celebration for just $25 a month for 2 years. Plus, there's no annual contract required and you get Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially since you're always growing and changing. But deepening your self-awareness is the key to a happier, more fulfilled life. Therapy is all about that process of self-discovery, because sometimes you don't know what you really want until you talk things through. BetterHelp offers convenient online therapy on your schedule. It's the same professional service you'd get from an in-person therapist, but with the option to communicate when and how you want, by chat, phone, or video call. Plus, getting started is easy. Just go to their site and fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. If you don't find the right match the first time, don't worry. You can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Start on your own journey of self-discovery with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/youfirst today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/youfirst.
I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. We provide a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to determine eligibility. Businesses of all types can qualify, so go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Download the Innovation Refunds app or go to getrefunds.com, getrefunds.com.
Find what you love at the Mila Innovation Center at Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill. Out of your dreams and into your kitchen, select the qualifying built-in kitchen appliance package that's right for you. With unrivaled technology and luxury-grade quality, when you bring home a Mila, you are bringing home true innovation. Now, for a limited time, save up to $2,100 with the purchase of a qualifying Mila appliance package. Visit the Mila Innovation Center at Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill or at friedmansappliance.com.
U.S. Bank is ranked #1 in customer satisfaction with retail banking in California by J.D. Power. Since California is home to most award shows, we've prepared a thank you speech.
To Californians everywhere, we've been proud to help you plan, budget, and save smarter. Our goal tracking and budgeting tools would have no place to shine if it weren't for you, and we can't thank you enough for that. And thank you to our real-life humans who go above and beyond for our customers every day.
Bravo, U.S. Bank! Bravo!
For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Member FDIC.
High above SAP Center, it's time for Bay Area Panthers football right here on 95.7 The Game. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Mark Randy. Evan Giddings with you here on 95.7 The Game. We're just about 3 minutes from kickoff. Week number 6 of the Indoor Football League season pits the 1-2 Bay Area Panthers against the 2-1 and the reigning champions in the Indoor Football League, the Northern Arizona Wranglers, a team that beat the Panthers all 3 times they matched up in the regular season just last year. But, Evan, this, of course, is a brand-new Bay Area Panthers team. There's also a lot of new faces for this Northern Arizona Wranglers team. But the Panthers, a lot of new faces. 1-2 on the season. They've lost 2 straight. Looking to get back in the win column after a couple of really close losses their last 2 times out.
Yeah, some close defeats, some close ball games, similar to the one that fans just heard prior to this one. Again, the Golden State Warriors and the Sacramento Kings. 1-point win for the Dubs. I expect a tight, contested game between these two sides. One on Bay Area that's hungry for a victory, coming off arguably the first 3 games in which they played a very difficult schedule against 3 of the best teams in the IFL, and now they get the number 1 defense in the league, the Northern Arizona Wranglers, and of course the defending IFL champs.
Yeah, the defending IFL champs led last year, at least on the defensive side of the ball, by Rob Keefe, who's now the Bay Area Panthers defensive coordinator, so connections there. And, of course, a number of Panthers players this year were Wranglers last year, so this game might means a little bit more here today. The Panthers have won the right to begin with the ball. They will start with possession in just a couple of minutes here on 95-7 the game. These are 2 teams headed in opposite directions. The Wranglers lost their first game, have won their next 2. The Panthers won their first game, have lost their last 2. But one of the stories heading into this game, Evan, is the Panthers wide receiver room. A couple of players, Arthur Jackson III and Tyson Morris, are not with the team currently as they are looking for opportunities in other leagues. Arthur Jackson III with the USFL, a tryout, and Tyson Morris has a tryout with the Indianapolis Colts of the NFL. Already Aaron Dilworth, Daniel Crowell Jr. are on long-term IR, so it opens up some opportunities for some new faces in the wide receiver room.
Well, we saw one of those brand new faces, Niger Jackson, last week catch 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns. He's a Stockton native along with Cottrell Haywood, who was signed earlier this week, also out there in the 208. JT Stokes, I expect to get a big game from him. He was very good first 2 games of the season, 1 catch for 7 yards last week in the loss.
And one of the other receivers is Imeke Watkins, and he's back to return the opening kickoff. We are just about ready for action here at SAP Center in San Jose. Week number 6 of the Indoor Football League season comes to a close, starting right now here on 95-7 the game. The kicker for the Wranglers is Brandon Fisher. He sends a high-angled kick towards the far sideline, and it goes 10 rows deep off to the right, and it will be Bay Area Panthers ball. Let's see how far. All the way up to near the 20-yard line. It will be at the 20-yard line. That's where the Panthers begin.
Yeah, that's what you call a shake. I mean, right into the Panthers bench, essentially. And that is fantastic starting position for Dalton Sneed and company.
Yeah, so Dalton Sneed, starting quarterback. He's played and started all 4 games for the Panthers this season. And the good news for Bay Area, they get their star running back, Justin Rankin, back. He is on currently the left hip. Now he moves out in motion, lining up on the line of scrimmage as a receiver on the left side of the formation. Sneed alone in the gun. Looks that way and throws it complete to his running back, Rankin. Pushed up against the wall, about 2 yards shy of the first down line. In fact, they give him 8 yards all the way to the Northern Arizona 22.
Well, that's a big factor. Rankin obviously can do it, as we saw in the passing game there, but on the ground, he has been dominant. 4th most carries of the first 4 weeks of this season, was inactive last week. Only 6 rushing yards from running backs for the Panthers.
Second down and 2. Rankin still in the game on the right hip of the quarterback, Sneed. 3 receivers to the right. They fake a pitch right. Sneed now spins out of trouble, keeps his feet, breaks another tackle, looks for the first down, and he has it just across the 20. Scrambles for 3. Brandon Burks, the linebacker, drags him down from behind, but good athleticism there from Sneed.
Yeah, Sneed and Burks was kind of that blitzing middle linebacker in the IFL. You have to declare if you are going to burst through the line of scrimmage, have to stay within the shoulders of the offensive lineman. Burks was quick to Sneed, who then spun out of danger and was able to use his legs to pick up the first, even though Burks recovered and got the tackle.
So a fresh set of downs all the way up to the 18-yard line for the Panthers. Bit of a pistol look here. Rankin lined up behind the quarterback, Sneed. Sneed turns it, hands it off. Left side, Rankin makes one man miss, then is met by a wall of Wranglers. It's a loss of a yard on the ground for Rankin.
Looked like Armonte Carey was the first man to the football. And this is a Northern Arizona front that is very stout, very athletic, very large. Against the run this year, they have been just about as good as you can be, top 3 in the IFL.
Yeah, allowing 47 yards per game on the ground, just under 4 per carry. And this brings up a 2nd and long from just outside the 18-yard line for the Panthers on this short 50-yard IFL field. Again from the gun, Sneed looks middle, throws that away over the middle, diving attempt. It's incomplete for Stokes in the end zone. Just a bit too wide of him. He was open. On the coverage there down the field was Keyshawn Walker.
And it looked like the pressure came from Theo Majette right down the chute as Dalton Sneed had to get that ball out a little bit quicker than he was intending to because he had Stokes wide open. If he hits him in stride, that's a touchdown.
First pass attempt falls incomplete for Sneed on the year. 449 yards passing, 9 touchdowns through his first interception of the season just last week. 3rd and 10 for the Panthers from the 18-yard line. They fake a handoff. Sneed looks to throw. Right side way high and incomplete for Stokes again. And he was locked up defensively by Keyshawn Walker.
Well, this secondary for Northern Arizona is going to be tough to try and get past. And a lot of members of the championship team last year now on Bay Area's side have allowed new opportunities on the Northern Arizona end for a guy like Keyshawn Walker to step up. So far this year, already 3 interceptions. He had 2 alone last week.
Yeah, he leads the team in tackles and interceptions. It's always around the ball, it seems like. Panthers have a decision here, 4th and 10. They decide to go for it. Of note, a new kicker this week for the Panthers. We'll tell you more about him when we have a moment. But 4th and 10 for Bay Area from the 18. Sneed to throw, but whistles and a flag stops this play. And it'll likely be a false start on the Panthers, pushing them back 5 yards. And it is. It's a false start on the wide receiver, Niger Jackson.
It's not often you see those position or skill group players get called for a pre-snap infraction because in the IFL game, you're allowed to have 2 men in motion. You'll typically see the 2 wide receivers in the slot and the near side of the field move in motion. Jackson was completely standing still, but just took off early.
So now a 4th and 15. Panthers could decide to kick a field goal if they want. They do not. Remember, no punting in the IFL. The Panthers still looking to go for it here. They need to get all the way down to the 8-yard line. They're just at the 23. Sneed to throw, has time, takes a shot deep down the right side of the field. Incomplete, too high for new receiver Cottrell Haywood. It falls incomplete. It's a turnover on downs. The Wranglers get a stop to open up this game.
Keyshawn Walker also over there. I think Sneed had perhaps a fraction of a window to fit that ball into a decent pocket, and I think it's a situation where that's not a 4th and 15, 4th and 14. He steps up and tries to scramble with his legs, but credit to Northern Arizona understanding where the sticks were and keeping the play in front of them.
So now the Wranglers have their first opportunity offensively. Garrett Kettle, the quarterback, 6'4", 210 pounds from Altaloma, California. Attended Benedictine College, a Division III school in Kansas, has played well in his first 3 games at the helm of the Wranglers. 1st and 10, Northern Arizona, just shy of midfield at the 24. It's a keeper for the quarterback, Kettle, after a fake handoff. Rushes forward for a few yards to the 22. Or he's tackled down. Give him 4 yards on 1st and 10.
Well, Garrett Kettle coming off a great week against San Diego, the 5 passing touchdowns and a complete, utter dominant performance for Northern Arizona. And we'll see how he's able to utilize both his arm and his legs.
Yeah, it was a 48-9 win for Northern Arizona just a week ago. 2nd down and 6. Kettle is alone in the gun. 2 receivers will be in motion on the left. There they go. Kettle back to throw, looking that way, and he fires complete to his running back, Ware Jr., who was hit hard by linebacker Wes Bowers into the wall, right across the 6 at the 15-yard line. A gain of 7 and a fresh set of downs.
Well, so far, Northern Arizona not trying to remake the wheel here. Just a couple of quick option looks. Of course, that first run from Kettle and then swinging it out to Ware. He's already had a couple of receptions himself this season.
Now, Ware has only rushed the ball 13 times. That was his 12th catch. So he's almost just a 4th receiver out there for the Wranglers. In the gun, Kettle again, facing pressure, rolls right, throws that way, caught by Ware, but he is absolutely demolished. J.R. Stevens lowers the boom and sends Ware backwards for a loss of 2.
Well, Northern Arizona, very familiar with just about every member of this Bay Area Panthers secondary. J.R. Stevens among them. All-IFL rookie team a year ago. He's been with Rob Keefe in Iowa. Last year, tied in the IFL with 6 touchdowns, second best in the league, and can also lay the wood, as we just saw.
What a big hit in a league.